This blanket's a very big problem solver for my not wearing socks issue. So that way my grubby little toes aren't on the camera.
This is the light's right on my face. 5, 4, 3,
2, 1.
Do you know why we have that blanket?
Why?
I got it from Goodwill. Do you know why?
Why?
It was it was one of the beer Olympics, one of the first ones, and we were trying to I think it was the second one. It was the idea of how to get the kegs to your land cold, because we were going to buy them in Milwaukee.
Oh, I actually do remember this.
And I bought that blanket thinking that we were going to like wrap them in ice and those blankets. I just went to Goodwill and grabbed like whatever blankets. And we needed those for that. We ended up just buying the kegs up there, so like ultimately we didn't need it. But I've had these blankets ever since. That one at least.
It was a weird thing in our mind that we just for some reason thought, oh, bumfuck nowhere, no liquor store is going to have kegs. But like,
also I think I wanted to go through my local liquor store because I like those guys.
Yeah, I know that. But yeah, it's an odd thing. No, but it was at the time we like 100% thought. Like, we had to, like, confirm with my parents, like, hey, do they for sure have... And they're like, yeah, it's a liquor store. They're going to have a keg of something. They always do.
Yeah, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah,
I still don't even really know how it works at places.
I don't know how money works.
I know.
You didn't see the greatest fighter alive fight last night,
Jake Paul and Nate Robinson?
Yeah.
You think I didn't see
You didn't see Jake Paul fight last night?
Knockout?
Did you
Nate Robinson?
Did you watch both all 2 rounds?
No, I just watched the knockout. Yeah.
So I watched the entire like thing. The first like couple fights. Boxing sucks cock. Like, anybody who thinks that boxing is better than UFC,
I'm gonna speak out of term about boxing. Because I don't know anything about boxing. I barely know anything about UFC.
They're frauds.
It seems like there's like a huge problem in the boxing world right now. Like there's fixing matches or
this one in particular.
The way money is handled in it. It all seems really shady, and like the whole sport of boxing.
It always has been too.
Yes, and it all has been
it's been like a thing for years.
And UFC is really just eclipsing it. The way it has like a national or a worldwide audience. So like boxing is it used to be like the sport, right? Yes. Like Mike Tyson, Ali.
That was like probably the time where it was most clean. But there was right before that though, it was like the mob and the mafia and shit just had their hands in it, and they'd be like, they'd pay off fighters to just like lose fights because like, I don't know why. They just wanted like a fighter to win.
So now you have,
but it's their guy.
You have almost like a shining light for boxing now, where these YouTubers like Jake Paul or Logan Paul are having these like celebrity boxing matches that are actually putting like a light on the sport again, which is a lot of boxing fans are happy that boxing is getting like exposure again.
People can say what they want. The Paul brothers, they are fuck ups.
Yeah,
they fucked up a lot.
Yeah,
but in reality, you can't deny what they bring to almost everything that they touch. When they touch something,
they do put a lot of eyeballs and things.
They have this
Pokemon.
They legitimately have the touch of
boxing.
Gold. They touch something and it turns to gold.
Yeah,
watching suicides.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful now.
I don't I have never sat down and watched one of the boxing matches. I always like watch the highlights after the fact.
Yes,
but at least I know about it.
Sucks.
I don't know about I didn't watch the Pokemon unboxing. I was there day one for the suicide video. I was a fan of that.
Yeah, you were pro suicide.
Yeah, and I never got the hate for it.
Yeah, nobody did.
But yeah, they do. They know how to market themselves, and
very well.
They just know how to get people's attention. They're good at it. Both of them.
So boxing, I watch like big time fights. Like I watched Mayweather Pacquiao. Worst thing I've ever watched.
Never seen it.
Legitimately, it was 12.
A lot of people thought that was a huge detriment to the sport because it was like one that garnered a lot of eyeballs, and then it just showed the
how shitty
the worst aspects about it.
That it's just
the defensive aspects.
Yes.
It wasn't for a non-boxing fan. It was not an entertaining fight.
It's funny because I'm pretty positive. This is me not knowing a whole lot about the sport either. I'm not like very in tune with it. But it's funny that Roy Jones Jr. fought on this big card because I think that he was actually like the downfall of the sport. Because back in the day, it used to be like heavyweights fucking throwing haymakers, knocking people out. That's what you like. Mike Tyson was the shit. Like fucking Muhammad Ali, just like throwing crazy shots. That's what it was, and just like pure athleticism fighting. When Roy Jones Jr. like got into it, he was like one of the defensive fighters. Then Floyd Mayweather and shit like that, and it's just like it really is the only people that like are like fucking good are like fucking Mexican fighters because they're like throw flurries and like attack fast.
Yeah.
I mean, there right now is too like there's also Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and Anthony Johnson.
You know what's fun about Tyson Fury? That to me sounds like one of the blackest names I've ever heard.
Yes.
White guy.
No
idea. I literally was like, Tyson Fury.
Voice of an angel.
Really?
You've seen the video, I think.
He just sings and it's like...
Yeah, at the end, after he beat Deontay Wilder, which was just like, this Deontay Wilder is also nuts.
Tyson Fury is the fucking most sick boxing name of all time.
It is very good.
Without question.
It's so easy to market. Yeah.
Tyson Fury.
Just to have that name.
I mean, Mike Tyson obviously is where the Tyson comes from, and then Fury, come on.
Yeah.
It's like it's a great name. I just thought he was a black guy. There's like no that was like there's no way he isn't. Yeah. Doesn't it just sound like a black name?
But then you hear Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, and then you go, oh,
I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. But the guy fought Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is really cool because he didn't start fighting till 21, and he just like knocks people out through like guard.
Isn't that weird when athletes start so late for their career and then become incredible? Like Patrick Mahomes started late in football.
I mean, it's not often though.
I know it isn't. Like usually you have like
how late did Patrick Mahomes start?
I think he didn't start until like maybe his junior year of high school. Or maybe his like senior year. It was like late into high school.
He probably was a natural athlete.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I mean, he's like probably the best quarterback, like
yeah,
pure talent wise.
Like Deontay Wilder, like probably I guess he didn't start boxing until 21, but I'm sure that like he was an athlete, very strong. Like the guy,
Floyd Mayweather obviously had a father and an uncle in boxing. Yeah. He was boxing his entire life. Tiger Woods was golfing forever.
Yes.
It's not often that it happens. Usually these prodigies are prodigies throughout life. Yes. But when they start late, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just cool. Interesting. It's a cool little story.
But yeah, Deontay Wilder, he was my favorite to watch, but then Tyson Fury beat him, and it's like, okay, that's cool.
Speaking of sport, sorry if you want to keep going.
Yeah, the Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, that's what we're getting to.
Yeah, to talk about that. That entire thing, first fight that I watched was boring. The Jake Paul fight, I watched it initially, and although Nate Robinson looked like crazy, like coming out, like he just attacked.
Based on the Reddit comments and the Twitter comments, people are like, Nate Robinson looked embarrassing to be in the ring. Like he looked like he didn't train at all. He had no idea what he was doing. That's what all the comments said. I didn't watch the fight.
It looked like a guy who was very athletic and was too confident because of his athleticism.
Right. I mean, he's an NBA player, right?
Yes.
So he just assumes that he can beat the shit out of a YouTuber.
It looked like he came out and he was like, oh, I'm going to throw like fucking 100 strikes in a minute. And one of them was just going to connect and knock him out. It wasn't the case. It was very like bad boxing. It looked like he did like kind of get Paul off balance a little bit. And then it just like, it clearly looked like there was
my favorite
advantage
after watching or after like things like this happen. Reddit is always the funnest thing to read because the way the system works is that comments get upvoted, so they get to the top, and you just immediately, because it's at the top and you think a bunch of people upvoted it, you go, oh, this is like the word of gospel. I don't know why you don't like, you're not actively thinking that, but it's like behind your head. You're like, oh, this has got to be true, right?
Yeah.
So like comments after things like this, it's usually uneducated people just
it's
commenting.
Always very polarizing.
Right, and it's always polarizing, and then it shoots up to the top, so it like skews your perception of it.
Yes.
Some of my favorite comments that I read was that like people are going like, damn, Jake Paul can actually fight. And then another comment is like, hey, like, this kid has a natural ability. If he would have started boxing young, he could have had a prolific career in professional boxing. These are what like people are saying in Reddit.
The kid, when watching him fight, it does look like he's pretty decent.
Sure.
He has a lot of, like, he throws his head down, like, which is just like a number one.
It's just fun to watch, like, people throw out crazy claims like that. After watching 2 rounds?
Oh, yeah. And also, the nice part about it, too, is no one on Reddit's ever wrong.
No.
Because before, like, now it's like, oh, obviously Jake Paul won.
Yeah.
Like, obviously. But before this, I guarantee Reddit was
all Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson's going to whoop his ass. How does he think that he can be an NBA player, an athlete like that?
That's one of the hugest problems I have with Reddit is that it's like a hive. I say it all the time. It's a hive mind. Mm-hmm. So if you go on it and you actively participate in it, generally you kind of probably think the same way Reddit does. Mm-hmm. So I already have this mindset. I'm generally like left leaning and politically. Yes. But if like you go to Reddit, it's just like constantly shitting on conservatives.
Really?
It's just like
I didn't know that. So Reddit's very
left leaning.
Oh,
for sure. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's really, and it's hard. It's so polarizing that it's hard to like know what's truthful out of Reddit because they just post it to the top.
I mean, with politics in general,
they are really, really left leaning, and I don't even think it's like it's not even like you know how Twitter is left leaning, mm-hmm. but that's kind of policed by the people in charge. Reddit kind of did it itself, like the community kind of just like policed itself to become left leaning. I don't even know how it happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a younger generation.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing about the Paul fight was the very first knockdown, which I guarantee you didn't see because
I just saw the knockout. Yeah,
he punched him in the ear, and one of my favorite things in fights is when people just like try to call like a like foul or like just call out something that's just like wrong. Like if somebody gets punched like 100 times,
commentating,
and they go, "Oh, I'm getting jumped. Nate Robinson goes down, gets punched in the ear, and he grabs the back of his head and he goes, "Hit me in the back of that," and like he was trying to get him like DQ'd and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was clearly just
a clean shot.
Yeah. And it made me laugh. Also, I'm kind of finding out through other people, I don't know if it's true, but I'm pretty sure the Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight was also fixed.
Wait, they did it?
Yeah.
When did they fight? That was yesterday?
Yes.
I didn't even know.
Jake Paul was the undercard to it.
Oh, who won?
That's the part that's crazy, is Mike Tyson won.
Okay.
But it was a draw.
What do you mean? Oh, what?
I'm pretty positive that there was something just like...
That fight was yesterday?
Yes.
And Jake Paul was the undercard?
Yes.
Man, I had no idea.
Fight right before it.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I only knew the Jake Paul thing.
And Snoop Dogg was there.
Really?
Israel Adesanya was there. Wiz Khalifa.
I like Wiz Khalifa, but
yeah, but me to hype it up to you, like,
I mean, maybe in 2011, I'd be like, he's the hottest artist right now.
Oh my god, are you serious? Yeah, and they were just smoking weed though. They just were cool with smoking weed.
Wait, yeah, I mean, Mike Tyson probably sponsored and put all the weed in there. I mean, he has a weed company.
Yeah.
So did Mike Tyson look good?
Yeah.
Did he really?
He like outstruck him by like 40 shots.
And is everybody saying it's fixed? It's fixed?
I've heard it like 3 times now. I don't know for sure if that's the overwhelming consensus, but if you look at like the strikes, so they have like Jordan was saying it last night in Discord. So I think that he outstruck him by like 30 strikes or something.
And how much
like that.
Younger is
Roy Jones Jr. is 3 years younger.
Okay,
but
he's been boxing more recently.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
Yeah,
but the thing that about the draw is that he had all these strikes, and he had like say 50 strikes or something.
Isn't
like
that funny that I knew the Jake Paul thing and I totally forgot about it?
Completely didn't know. That's really goofy.
I knew. You know what? I had that information in my head that they were the undercard.
Because it was the KO. The KO. You probably wouldn't even have known about the fight being on yesterday if it
wasn't for the KO. Yeah.
So he outstruck him a lot. Out of like his 50 or so strikes that Mike Tyson landed, they have like a heavy or hard strike. Some statistic like, oh, it's a big haymaker hit. I think that 3 of them were like normal jabs. All the other ones were like just rocking Roy Jones. So it was like a very one-sided fight. I thought that Roy Jones was going to go down. He's just like a very smart boxer, so like he didn't.
Yeah.
But like it was clearly he won, and it was a draw. And like even like Keemstar posted a video. I don't know if it was of Keemstar or of somebody else, and he goes, "They're going to call it in a draw. They're going to call it in a draw." And then they called it in a draw, and it's like it. Mike Tyson was obviously robbed of a win, but yeah. A funny clip though, at the end of it, they interviewed both of them because they won, or both won, and the interviewer goes, "Roy, were you like ever scared to like get hit by like going into this fight? Like how scared were you?" And he like was about to give him the mic. Mike Tyson goes, "How come nobody's worried about me? I was scared. This fucker just fought 3 years ago. I haven't fought for 15 years. But like in his voice.
Yeah.
And it's very funny how he says it. But it is funny that like everybody was like, "Oh, Roy Jones, are you like scared?" He's fought recently.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson's been out of the game for 15 years.
Yeah.
15, 16. And he's like, "Why does nobody care about me? Nobody gives a fuck about my ass."
But yeah, people just assume because it's Mike Tyson that there's no way that like he's gonna have an issue or like problems.
The thing is, Roy, like, I don't think that the issue is that like Mike Tyson's going to get knocked out by Roy Jones. He's just going to get like outstruck. The issue is Roy Jones might get his like jaw blown off by Mike Tyson. Like he's going to look like one of those dip addicts.
After this I'm gonna get like look at the highlights because I totally forgot that was a thing.
I know you did. This was the thing that I was like, oh, I got something to talk about that you probably don't even know.
I thought you were literally going to talk about Jake Paul and Nate Robinson.
Yeah, no, the whole thing. I watched it all. Like I said, it was pretty boring except for the knockout. The knockout was pretty fucking cool.
How come there was no like advertising that I missed?
There was so much.
Why did I miss it all? Where was it?
Dude, I don't know.
Why I missed everything.
Like, literally, this is all I've heard about for so long.
No, I mean, I've heard of it. I just didn't know when it was. I thought it was coming.
Yeah, I've been hearing about it a lot.
I was going to say, speaking of sports, you might know this. I think, Tyler Voss yesterday was over this past weekend, and he mentioned this to us. So, you know about the Broncos quarterback, right?
Yes. There's
the first one caught COVID. The second was around him without a mask. And I think they don't have a third one or something. So they're having a wide receiver play.
No, I got good news for you.
What?
I'm going in.
It's you, huh?
It's me.
They called you up?
They said, "Hey, buddy, we know in southeastern Wisconsin you have the strongest arm for any 24-year-old.
And I've played 2 years.
Varsity!" And they were like, "We hear that you have a laser rocket arm and built like Ben Roethlisberger. We need you." So I'm going in.
It's cool that we have fat quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It is cool.
I think that we need more.
I know.
But yeah, it is crazy to think that they just have no...
He's having a great year, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, they're undefeated. And people like...
Overrated.
Every time I hear them, people go like, Ben Roethlisberger looks like the worst part of the team. And he's like probably the comeback player of the year. Yeah. Because he came off an injury last year or something. I don't know.
Yes.
What do I know about sports? I don't know shit.
I mean, they just have like a really good... The Steelers are looking all around just pretty solid. And I really like
I still
Juju
don't
Smith.
feel like they're... I mean, because of TikTok? Me too. I feel like there isn't a front runner for Super Bowl. It would be Kansas City or the Steelers. But like, I'm not even like... Because, I don't know, Kansas City are still... Like, they're the exact same team as last year.
This might be a biased thing. But although, like, we've been losing...
The Packers?
There's also a possibility that, like, the Packers could win it.
Sure.
They look like... Their offense, when it's on, just looks
They do look like the best NFC team.
Yeah.
Them or Tampa Bay.
When they play really well, it's just like... I don't think that anybody plays as well.
But I don't feel like... Kansas City or Steelers obviously feel like front runners on that side. Yeah. I don't know about... Like, NFC feels so... More so than they've ever. It feels very up in the air.
Yeah.
Because it feels like everybody's beating everybody. Like, all the top teams keep losing. Like, the Buccaneers will blow out the Packers, right? And you're like, oh, fuck, the Buccaneers are clearly good. And then the next game, like, Tom Brady will throw 7 picks. And then you'd be like, oh, so they're dog shit.
Yeah.
And then the Saints, right? They look great, and then Drew Brees clearly can't throw over 15 yards. So you're like, oh, I guess like they're bad. And then like the Packers are looking solid. They get blown out by the Buccaneers, or they'll lose to the Vikings, which are like 1-7.
Yes.
Or they'll lose to the Colts in overtime, which is like that game could have went anywhere. Anyway, that was a great game to watch. Did you watch that one?
Nope.
Overtime? Man, I mean, how often do the Packers get fucked by overtime rules?
A lot.
And this one is, of the times that the Packers have been fucked by overtime, it is one of the least egregious ones. I just hate the way overtime rules work so much in a turn-based system. Mm-hmm. First team scores in turn-based, it makes no sense. It's zero. It has zero place in football. It makes it unfun to watch when it goes to overtime.
100%. I'd never want it to go to overtime.
The way we lost, though, before I get like bias, this game, we had the first chance. We had the first attempt at the ball. So if we would have scored, we would have won. I still think if that happens, I still think it's a shitty system. Yep. Essentially, one of our receivers
MVS
fumbled it, and then they
got death threats.
It got death threats, deservingly. And then the Colts
was one of them.
The Colts just hit a field goal, and that's how you win. Mm-hmm. It's so fucking.
That's so stupid to me.
It's so annoying. It's fucking terrible.
You should have a rebuttal at least.
When I first experienced an NFC or a Green Bay Packer overtime loss, was Brett Favre was still the quarterback. Mm-hmm. It was the era that Tom Brady and the Patriots were going undefeated, and we were going against the wild card New York Giants in the NFC Championship game. And each team was going back and forth, and they kept kicking field goals and missing it. And finally, after the third or fourth attempt of a field goal, the Giants hit a field goal and went on to win the Super Bowl. The fact that you can just kick a field goal and win it is terrible.
So stupid, yeah. Because I can kick a field goal from 70 yards out. So you give me 10 yards of offense, I'm kicking.
And that's initially how it was for a while. Is that the first team who gets offense in overtime could just kick a field goal, and that would be it. You could just have like a lucky drive, get 40 yards away, and then win the game.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Then they changed it to the rule of if you kick a field goal, the returning team or the defending team gets a chance to rebuttal.
There should always be a rebuttal.
Exactly. Like,
it's so stupid.
Because as it stands, if you get a touchdown, the game is over. In a turn-based system where it's like you go, me go, you go, me go. So it's essentially whoever gets the coin flip wins.
Yeah.
The way it should be, and maybe like this is me not thinking of the players because I don't play football, and maybe they're just trying to reduce injury. I don't believe that the NFL actually gives a fuck about the players.
Never.
In that sense. So like
they do, but they don't.
They don't. They care enough to appease the people who like they want to make it look like they give a shit. But I think they ultimately don't care.
I just hate that they've taken away special teams though. Like the fact that like kick returns aren't like a thing.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
So anyways, I wish you basically already said this, but I wish that no matter what, whoever scores first, it doesn't matter. Like if you get the ball first and you score, if you get the ball second, this is what I think it should be. If you score right away, a little bit, it doesn't matter. Yes. Whoever scores first, let's say it's a touchdown, let's say it's a field goal, no matter what, the other team should get a chance to match it or beat it.
Yes.
And if you don't, then the game's over. That's how I feel like it should be.
Yes.
So that would, I feel like, add so much depth and dynamics to it. Because as it stands right now, if you get a touchdown, you don't have to kick an extra point.
Also, put it this way. So in my idea, it should be tie or beat. And the second team, like whoever like gets the ball second, technically has a little bit of an advantage
because you can beat them,
but not really.
Not really.
Yeah. So I think that like if you kick a field goal, you should be able to, score a touchdown and win. Which this then, if a team, it creates more highlights too. Because if you think about it, if somebody just kicks a field goal, you can like match it with the field goal. But if the team scores a touchdown, you're not going for a field goal at like 55 yards.
No.
you're Hail Mary.
You're trying to go. Yeah.
You're getting a fucking big ass.
You're trying to win.
Play.
Yeah.
You're going out there. You're fucking. You have one play.
Yeah.
You're going to have Aaron Rodgers plays left and
right. Exactly.
Like the reason why the Packers have so many is because we just decide we don't want to like actually check in until the fourth quarter. That's like when our like players decide, oh wait, we're playing football. Is this real?
Yeah, it's annoying.
It like they don't give a fuck until like the last 5 minutes.
The reason why we hate overtime rules is so many times the Packers have gotten to overtime and then they lose because Aaron Rodgers never gets a chance to even score. That has happened at least 3 times. Sometimes it happens in the playoffs. Sometimes it's happened in the NFC Championship game.
Yes.
It's fucking annoying, and that's why I'm biased. But like, even if we win in the reverse, I still think it's fucking crazy.
Yes.
Also, to your point of if they get to match or beat. Right as it stands right now, if you score a touchdown first, you win and you don't have to kick the extra point.
Yes.
With the score or match, it makes you have an interesting choice now because now you get to
Either
do you want to kick the extra point, right?
Yeah.
Or go for 2.
Yeah.
So if you come back and you like
it creates this dynamic of
where
like,
if the team who gets to score next, they can kick the extra point and like match it, or they can just go for the 2 points and then win the game.
Thinking of it like that too, then it also creates a new. This might be weird to say about football, but a new meta almost.
Yeah,
because at that point, and it might even like it'd be cool because it'd be so. If they changed it right now to that way, it'd be so new that I think that we'd learn alongside them, which is cool. Because like there's certain things like. I don't know. Things, especially in basketball, like recently changing, like taking 3 points is just always good. I feel like at first we would see these people just go to like match it. Mm-hmm. But then I think later on it may end up being always go for if you're rebuttaling, always go for the 2 points.
Because ultimately,
you no matter what win.
Because if you just get a defensive stop, you win with the 6 points.
Otherwise you have to play it out.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I think that it would just be maybe they just start off.
But at least you get to see it.
Yes.
Because as of right now, that's kind of happening in the NFL with people are going for 2 points a lot more. People are going on 4th downs because statistically you have a high chance of getting them a lot of the times. And it's like...
And I love that.
It's so much more fun. I feel like this has been like starting for the past like 4 years now.
Yeah, football really stalemated for me. I mean, I've said this many times. It's hard for me.
Mike McCarthy is the most like the epitome of
fuck him.
Like of stalemate football, of like boring, never going for it, never just like playing to not lose.
Watching Matt LaFleur
play to win.
That's
why I'm still confident about this team because even though he doesn't really. I like the way he play calls because he's It's such a refreshing change from playing to not lose because there's so many times where he could have kicked a field goal, but he'll go on 4th and like 4 where like we won't get it, but I like the call because I'd like playing for the fucking win.
The first like 2 or 3 games, we like went for 4th down like 7 times and got it like all but once. Like it was so like that's
when
cool.
It
gives you like this thing like it like gives you this excitement. It's the thing that I miss the most because for a while when especially with like Brett Favre, it felt like that all the time. So
because of
it was such a Russian roulette watching Brett Favre because
throw it into triple coverage and get it picked.
Because either it's the craziest fuck, and the best part about it is he'd do that in the first or second quarter
when you didn't need to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like that was the shit because it's like, oh, I'm watching 4 quarters of football.
Yeah.
And not just a chess match for 3 quarters and then, hey, we have the greatest we have the greatest talent at quarterback ever.
Aaron Rodgers.
And now we can finally see it.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that does fall on Aaron Rodgers like a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely Aaron Rodgers. But
because that's the way he likes to play the game. He likes to play the numbers
methodically.
Game. He likes the efficiency of it. And then when he gets back into a corner, then you get to start seeing him like pull out like crazy shit.
So and like
that's the definition of how Aaron Rodgers plays.
It's because the crazy thing is that I think of like Brett Favre is this highlight reel, and like that's just because he always went for it.
Yeah.
Whereas Aaron Rodgers just like is a quarterback that won't always send it.
Ultimately, if you want a quarterback for your team, you want Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Because he's gonna produce more.
It's
but Brett Favre is more entertaining.
To say that he's not the most talented quarterback of all time is just like ignorant.
As it stands right now, I agree. Mm-hmm. There will be a conversation, I think, at the end of Patrick Mahomes' career.
Possibly,
the way he plays.
If it heads in the general direction.
The way it's going.
Yes.
I think.
But I mean, like.
And then the most winning quarterback is obviously Tom Brady.
Who was it that was telling? Oh, my guildmates in WoW, which we'll get to later. Don't worry.
I know people are waiting for it.
I know everybody's waiting for the World of Warcraft talk. They, I think, have very ignorant thoughts on football. In sports in general, I think that they're very biased people. I
mean, we are too.
Maybe, but not.
At least we try to admit the biases.
Yes, and I'd say like even then, like I'm a very open-minded person when it comes to sports, but like there's just some things I won't let slide.
Yeah,
like if you call LeBron James not the greatest player,
I was just about to say that.
Like,
I was gonna say Michael Jordan clearly being the best.
Yeah.
You're not biased there.
Yes, that one is like a little bit of biasy, but I don't think it is because it's just supported by like not winning stats, but like player stats. Like the guy's just a better player, and that's the fact.
Okay, get back to your.
But they said something that they called Aaron Rodgers slow.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I said, you realize there's not a better quarterback off like its back foot or on the run.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody who's had more plays outside of the pocket than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Like it's such a constant to see him like roll out of the pocket and then create a play out of nothing.
Well, and he has the fastest release time. Uh-huh. Like that's just like an ignorant thing.
Also, like he doesn't really do the championship belt anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like a direct quote from him when he would throw it back in that like around the 2010s era when he would throw it
when he was like. Undoubtedly
the idea of him throwing it was to just like if he made an athletic, because people would say Aaron Rodgers is not athletic, when he would make an athletic play like that, that's when he would throw it the most, just to be like, hey,
it's so
I'm
nuts.
I'm an athlete, I don't know why people think I'm not.
It's unfortunate that we had Mike McCarthy for the majority of his career, because it's
very rewarding to see him on the Dallas Cowboys.
As an unbiased person, he's the greatest quarterback.
Yeah.
To ever take a snap. There hasn't been a better talent. I really genuinely believe that. And people outside of Wisconsin will fight that so much.
I always like to, because I say that like as of right now, Aaron Rodgers definitely is the most talented person I've seen at the sport. Mm-hmm. But to say that Tom Brady isn't like the great, I mean, it's like, at the end of the day, that guy has won 6 Super Bowls and been to 8, 9. He's been to 9, right? And won 6 of them.
See, but like I don't put that on a player.
I know, right? Yeah. Obviously, That's Bill
Belichick.
But we've seen Bill's coaching the team right now.
Yes,
not doing well.
They
have no talent, right?
They started off the season pretty fucking good.
And then Cam Newton got COVID, and then everything went down to
Literally.
shit. And now Tom Brady's on Tampa Bay, and he's had some great games. He's had some not great.
He's had some very bad games.
He's also had some very great games.
He's had like one very good game.
I don't know what month he won the offensive player of the month. One of the months, because like 4 games in a row he like played great, and then he's had some really bad ones.
Very.
I'm just saying. I am not willing to just say Aaron Rodgers is like the greatest because Tom Brady exists. Like he's won. There is every Super Bowl that he won because of him. No. Is every one that he lost because of him? Also no. There might be some games that he's lost that he'd probably deserve to win, and there's definitely some that he's won that he deserved to lose.
There's definitely statistics to prove like the team around.
But at the end of the day, that guy's a winner. He's won 6 championships. He's been to 9. That's nothing like it's hard.
He's the greatest winner of all time.
It's very hard to overlook that.
He's the greatest winning quarterback.
And unfortunately, like Peyton Manning's kind of gonna get overlooked. You know, Peyton Manning's like a great quarterback.
Yeah, he's not in the conversation.
I know, that's weird. Even though, like, I think he deserves more recognition.
I think that he gets the recognition that he deserves.
I don't know. I don't think he does.
Because he does get like
Nobody even puts him in the greatest of all time anymore. You know.
He's probably like a top 10.
Yeah.
I'd say that. That's about it.
Like Drew Brees gets talked over Peyton Manning more. Is Drew Brees?
That's probably a stretch.
Is Drew Brees better?
Stat line wise, yeah.
But would you put him over Peyton Manning?
I'd rather have Peyton Manning as my quarterback.
You know what I mean? So like people just, I think like the conversation on Peyton Manning's going away, and I don't know why.
But like the highlight reel of, if you were to watch any highlight reel, whose is it?
Oh, I'm watching Aaron Rodgers
every single time. Mm-hmm. He has the greatest plays made.
Well, because Tom Brady highlight reel is like him standing in the pocket throwing a perfect pass and like
for 15 yards.
Yeah,
and then that guy breaking 3 tackles and getting another 20 yards on top of it.
Yeah,
that Tom Brady literally had nothing to do with, because that other 20 yards that was gained was because their wide receivers were phenomenal. They always have like fucking amazing wide receivers. They have amazing defense. Every time that they won a Super Bowl, they had a top fucking 3 defense in the league. Tom Brady fucking sucks cock. He wouldn't start on my high school football team, and that's final. Jacob Wiedauer would start over him.
He would never start. He wouldn't have started on my middle school golf team.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get Tom Brady's good. Tom Brady's clearly, even talent-wise, probably still a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And nobody makes the plays that Aaron Rodgers has made.
Patrick Mahomes does pretty good.
Not even close, though.
No, not yet. But I'm saying Patrick
in one
Mahomes,
season, he had like 3 fucking plays that are probably going to go in the top 50 plays of all time.
You talking about the Detroit Lions game?
The Arizona Cardinals game.
Yep.
And then
unfortunately we lost that playoff.
And then there was one more game where he was on the run.
You talking about the Randall Cobb one?
Where he back shoulder
into the
on the run, fucking running the opposite way, throws it
for the
dime, 45-yard pickup or whatever it was.
Versus the Giants in the playoffs, first game.
Yeah,
that was a great season that we ended up ultimately losing.
Just there's nobody with better fucking highlights.
Brett Favre highlights are pretty good.
Brett Favre highlights are cool to watch, but then you realize what surrounds it.
Yeah. But you're talking about a highlight reel? Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's the human highlight reel.
It's pretty good.
Like then you go, oh wait, that
every now and then
that game that plays in, he also threw like 3 picks.
You just watch the Oakland Raiders game the day after Brett Favre's father dies. It's one of the greatest.
I think that I told you to watch that game.
Probably, because it's probably one of the greatest games any player has ever played in NFL ever. It's just such a iconic sports moment.
So good.
And like the balls that he throws in the coverages that he throws it in are so crazy.
Dude, it could make you come.
It doesn't make sense. Like, and he had every throw doesn't, like, you're like, oh, you shouldn't make that throw, and then he just nails it.
I think that he had a perfect game, right? Like I think that he had 3 incompletions.
He might have had less than that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He just balls out.
It's insane. I actually kind of want to look up the stat line to that, just because I remember looking at the stat line, and I remember the game, like, fucking, I remember the corner of the end zone fucking pass that he threw, like, into double coverage. Like, it just fucking amazing.
There's not a lot of games that I've, like, caught when they happen that have become iconic. Tell me if I'm wrong. I believe I was with you and our friend Alec. We were at B-Dubs, and we weren't even trying to watch this game, but then we look at the TV. It's a basketball game. Do you remember it? It's the Golden State Warriors during their 73 and like their like iconic the 2016 season versus the Oklahoma Thunder, and it goes into overtime, and Steph Curry like breaks all his records. Yeah. Do you remember? Did we watch that game? We watched that game as it was happening on the TVs.
I don't know.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that. That doesn't stick out that much for me.
I remember just like we were at B-Dubs and it was on the TV. If the people who know the game, it's like the iconic Steph Curry game.
Yeah, it's very good.
We were like watching it as it was happening.
It seems I say this about you all the time. You obviously keep up with sports, but I wouldn't say that you're like the number one sports guy by any means.
No, not at all.
But you stumble into great events so often.
Like the Kobe Bryant game?
Like, you'll just, like, randomly
The last Kobe Bryant game.
Yes. You like randomly stumble into like amazing fights, like all-time great fights.
Oh, like the Khabib.
Yeah.
The Khabib fight with Connor. And then like...
These were the stats, by the way. 22 completions, 30 attempts, 399 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 1 sack, though.
Oh, 1 sack. Tough.
But other than that, just a perfect game.
Yeah, basically.
100... I just closed out. But it was like 157
What's that
passer
completion
rating.
What's that completion percentage?
22 out of 30.
What is that? Is that like over 70%? 70% is crazy good, but like if it's over, that's obviously amazing. I don't know. Do the math.
22 divided by 30.
What do you got?
73%.
Pretty good.
Really?
70% is good. 73% is obviously amazing.
Yes. And just like dimes, fucking.
I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure we watched the game and fucking Steph Curry is wearing. Honestly, I loved. Nobody likes these NBA jerseys, but the jerseys with sleeves on it. I love those jerseys. I don't know. Everybody hates them.
That seems like a jersey that you'd wear, though.
I know. I like it.
Just so that way you don't get sunburned playing outside. That's the jersey that you wear.
Steph Curry is having like the incredible. It's his unanimous MVP year, and he didn't just like break his own 3-point like record. He crushed it. Yes. And then within this game, he has now had the
most threes in the game or something.
Most threes in the game, and then it's coming to they're in overtime, right? He hits a buzzer beater, not really a contested buzzer beater. It's like the most disrespectful buzzer beater I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's something that I've said this before to you, and I think that it was Colin Cowherd, which is a person that can be wrong a million times, but every now and then he has this one line. He's one of the most influential. Already one of the most influential players to basketball.
He's the most iconic basketball player of the 2010s, I'd say.
One of them. I mean, there's also LeBron.
Right, I know. But LeBron's been...
As far as influential, what I mean by that is, like, he's changed the game.
Yeah.
More than any other.
Of the past 20 years, it's LeBron. But of the past, like, decade, I think Steph Curry is more impactful in terms of how the game's played.
Yeah, as far as changing how the game's played.
Yeah.
I don't think that LeBron's changed how the game's played at all.
No.
Because it doesn't make sense, because nobody will ever be able to play the game like him.
No.
Because nobody's 6'7",
but
265 pounds and runs a 4.40.
I don't know.
Think how fast that is.
It's scary.
That's faster than, although our team wasn't that great, it's faster than any person that was on our football team.
Yeah.
High school. By 0.2 seconds, which is a lot. That's like a lot. And I'd go as far to say I don't think that there was a person in our conference that we played that was that fast.
Or as big as him. He's huge.
There was also, there was probably only like 3 linemen that were as big as him.
And that's linemen.
Yeah. And he moves that fast.
But like...
Jumps that high.
My argument for why Steph Curry is the most like... Because when that decade's going to be remembered, it's... The way the Golden State Warriors are going to be remembered of the 2010s is the same way the Bulls are going to be remembered.
By the way that they were reverse swept by the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yes.
That's how they're going to be remembered, yes.
No, they're not. They're going to, people are going to think of that.
I'm legitimate when I say this. It sucks.
You think that team's going to be forgotten?
No.
Because then they get KD.
As a person like me and a lot of people.
And Steph's at the center of that team.
It will be remembered for that reason, but it's because they're just going to see it. Like they're going to see, like 20 years from now, like our kids and stuff, they're going to look at, who won in like 2010 or whatever, 2016 and shit like that. And they're just going to see the names of like who won and like who was on the team. And then they're not going to realize, like it started off as a like dream team and it was cool that like this development team became what it became. Yeah. And then they also added...
Before KD...
They added probably the second best player in the league.
Before KD, that team was easily the most entertaining to watch.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, they made basketball so fun.
Mm-hmm. And KD being on the Thunder at the time made the league just so interesting.
Legit great rivalry between those teams.
Yes.
And then also between LeBron and the Warriors. It's a great rivalry.
You want to... Do you know Oklahoma City's roster?
Currently?
No, when like that was
all Russell Westbrook. fucking like KD. You have who's the big white player with the long hair?
Steve something.
But
oh, you don't know who else was?
Are you saying you're saying James Harden before they traded to the Rockets? Yeah, I know, but he wasn't during.
He wasn't amazing.
He wasn't like during that.
But that's so crazy,
right? Yeah.
To think that if that team would have stayed together, that would have been just like another power. We would have had like 5 teams where they
ultimately though James Harden goes to the Rockets and then they have that rivalry. So it's like you get it in some sense, but yes, the idea of KD and
Russell and
all at their basically their peaks.
Except for James Harden. James Harden was like,
but if he would have stayed, he would have been. They would have all literally peaked together because each one of them ends up winning an MVP.
That team would have won.
They all won an MVP individually.
Yeah,
like all of them. It's crazy.
That's crazy to think that there's.
They all.
I don't think that there's ever been a team like that.
That's like easy. Was broken up, and then they all had MVPs.
I don't think that there's ever been a time where 3 MVPs were on a team together.
I know, it's crazy.
I'd have to look that up.
I have no idea.
That's actually a crazy statistic.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to make a tweet and see if I get replies on that.
All of them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I although like I just thought of it like as the individual players, it's weird to think that all 3 of them have won MVPs.
Yeah, and like kind of all historic MVPs. Mm-hmm. Like KD, well, KD's season wasn't historic, but he was just like the clear MVP. And then like he had that iconic
LeBron James,
right,
in his prime,
and he had that iconic speech of "You're the real MVP" about his mom, right? So like that's
the real MVP.
That's like a real moment there.
Yes.
And then Russell Westbrook had the triple-double average, which hasn't happened since Oscar Robertson.
And now he just does it all the time.
Right, I know.
He wants to feed off of that.
I know, but at the time it was like hyped, right? Yes. And you're like, KD left him. Like, he's fucking out here. Yeah. He's proven that like this is his team.
He's grabbing completely open rebounds. And
I know.
Pushing away his teammates so he can get this.
I love to talk shit on Russell Westbrook nowadays because he's definitely like regressed.
He's very good though.
Yes. But like that's such an iconic him moment. Yeah. And then James Harden with like the way that offense is designed for him to just pump out threes. Yes. Steph Curry hits more threes with less attempts than James Harden, but the efficiency of that offense, the way they just they pumped out the numbers, the Rockets. So like the way all those are just so iconic, and the fact that they all were on a team and that whole thing got broken up is crazy.
It's nuts to think about.
What do we have time? 40?
47. Can we get through this without me talking about it at all?
I hope so. Is there anything you want to talk about with Pokemon or WoW?
Pokemon, I do actually want to talk about.
This will probably end out the whole thing then.
But there's one thing that I want to say about Thanksgiving. I hate the fact that when T-Rog's around, he brings out this side to you that I only see when T-Rog's around.
Did I ignore you again?
No, your love for water.
What do you mean?
Although I think that you naturally always like hot tubs. And like,
you're talking about how we got in the tub?
But like the fact that if T-Rog's around, you also have to be in that pool for 3 hours.
Oh, we hot tubbed for a long time.
For so long.
That was good though.
It was good. Don't get me wrong.
You don't like hot tubbing for 3 hours?
No, because I saw Elizabeth and Beth get out, and I was like, man, I really wish I could like
leave
because I've done my time. I've done my time.
Yeah, they got out and we stayed in for another hour and a half.
Because I was getting lethargic as fuck. Mm-hmm. And it just
let's do some free promo. We the champagne bottles of High Life are out, and we killed I think 12 bottles of champagne High Life. So they're not actually champagne bottles.
They're just 40 ounces.
Are they 40 ounces of High Life or are they less?
They might be a little bit less.
They're a little bit less than 40 ounces, and we killed 12 of them in that hot tub.
We got really fucked up on those.
Yeah, we did. You know what? Why I put myself to sleep that night is because we started playing Mexican, and I knew if I kept drinking, I was going to throw up. So I was like, I got to be done.
I didn't even remember you going to sleep.
It was around like
midnight. Yeah, you did go to sleep before everybody. Huh?
Yeah, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. We were getting fucking
for Thanksgiving. Pussy. It was nice.
It was good. I said a lot of good things about people, and then but yeah, I had to get that one thing out about how I just hate that T-Rock brings out everybody's love for water.
If that guy can get wet no matter what time of year it is, if it's deep in the cold of November, he is getting in the hot tub.
Oh yeah.
And he'll stay in there for a while.
For a long time. Pokimane drama.
Yeah.
This is something I haven't talked about, even though it happened a while ago. I have specifically held off on talking about it.
I don't know anything about this.
You have no idea. So Fedmeister, you might know about this guy. He was on offline TV, Disguised Toast, Scara.
Yeah, okay.
Pokimane, all that.
I don't know what he looks like.
He got kicked off.
I imagine he's Asian.
I don't know if he is.
Because they all are, right?
He's like, he might be Filipino or something.
Okay.
He's something.
Anyways.
But he got kicked off offline TV.
Who is at the head of offline TV?
Scara, Disguised Toast, Pokimane.
They are like these. I know they're like the stars of it, but do they all run it? Is it theirs?
Fed was also a partial owner.
Okay.
So they're all partial owners. He got kicked off for being touchy-feely with girls. I've told you about this before. You might barely remember it.
No.
But he just like would go. He went into this girl's bed, Yvonne, who's also on
the gaming
TV.
house that they all live in.
Yeah, went into her bed and like was giving her a massage or something that made her feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
He also just like had this issue where when he was wrong, he wouldn't admit that he was wrong. So like the team just in turn ended up removing him. He also made other people feel uncomfortable. Pokimane came out afterwards saying pretty much like, yeah, he made me feel uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. He was very manipulative in my life and just kind of shit on him a lot.
Yeah.
She more so than other
people. So
Pokimane
came out as like the front runner to say, this is why we're kicking him out.
No, not even really. Just more or less added onto it. Okay. Added onto this pile.
Okay.
He was kicked off. Everybody made a statement pretty much, and it was done there. Disguised Toast and Scar obviously probably did it the best because they're very professional people, not emotional driven.
Yeah.
And they went about it in a really good way. They took the side of the girls.
Clean. Yeah. Simple.
Pokey.
Also they were on the right side of it.
Yes. They had nothing to do with it really.
Okay.
And had no idea of it until late. Pokimane ended up coming out and just trashing him. Pretty much.
Okay.
He also made me uncomfortable. He manipulated me. He made people not be my friend. This and that.
Okay.
Finally, 6 months has passed since this.
Since then. Okay.
Yeah. Pokey said things, I think, again. He writes a manifesto.
Oh, I love these.
He's been writing it for a while.
How many pages?
25.
Woo, I love them.
Yep.
I love this.
With images of text messages.
Between who?
Pokimane and Fed. The guy that got kicked out for being creepy feely.
So he wrote the manifesto.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll get back to him writing the manifesto as well.
Yeah.
There's also some complications with that. Released by Keemstar.
Keemstar is the one who released it.
Got his hands on it and got released. And in this manifesto, pretty much he's like, I accept responsibility for what I did.
For being a creep.
I definitely, messed up, made people feel uncomfortable. I didn't recognize that.
And I don't admit that I'm wrong.
And yeah, he pretty much goes on to say, even with that, he kind of seems like he pushes that off a little bit to where they wanted it. I think that the issue with him being wrong was, I think that he took too long to write a statement because he was trying to, they were like, hey, write a statement. And he kept on writing it and he wasn't writing it in a way that he was fully at blame. And he kind of brushed it off. So they were like, no, you have to this isn't what we're going to release because you're still not taking blame for it. So he says that in the manifesto pretty much too, but he does take blame here and is very upfront that he screwed up with Yvonne and Lily Pichu and shit. And Pokimane, come to find out this entire time, had been texting and pretty much sexting with him. No nudes or anything like that, but hey, I got a hotel with this person, but I could always, and it has 2 beds and I can stay there, or I can come sleep with you if you know what I mean, and stuff like that, or I can stay in your bed. And
so she's flirting with him.
She's flirting with him. He's flirting with her. It does the best thing that I saw. So I didn't even read the manifesto myself. I watched a video of Destiny going through the entire thing. So it's not like I didn't read it all because it got all read out by Destiny. And Destiny, I think, he explains things very well. And it was so bad because it would be one moment she was like saying all that stuff, and then the next moment it was like, yeah, love you too as a friend.
Okay.
Very Lidiani type.
Yeah, I know the type.
Where she'd give like 10 yards and then take back 11.
Okay.
And it kept on going back and forth.
I'm going to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. What is besides the fact that I've been in situations like that before.
Yes.
Where you think things are going well with a girl,
mm-hmm.
and it turns out she's just kind of, generally speaking,
yes,
they kind of just like the attention. Mm-hmm. They like it.
Love it, yes.
And they never really want to reciprocate. They just love the cat and mouse game, and they never truthfully want to have a relationship with you. Correct. This is what it seems like. That's scummy or shitty to do. It sucks.
Yes.
But ultimately, does that have anything to do with him making girls feel creepy?
So it's
or
just
him
like
just being kind of like the not great person.
So she was like pretty much saying that like he manipulated her and was doing things to not make them friends.
Yeah.
With other people, but in reality, it was just more or less like he had friends that she didn't hang out with, and it was just like his friends. So he would vent about mm-hmm. like his issues with her and like kind of like how it seems like.
So their relationship's a little muddled, a little messy.
Well, the issue is they were taking things really like they were being like coupley.
Yeah.
And then at some point they did have a talk where she was like, you know, we're like both owners in this business, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if it's the right move kind of type thing.
Did they ever get intimate with each other?
I believe so. I mean, it's implied, heavily implied.
But they don't know. Nobody knows?
Nobody knows. It's denied, but it's heavily implied.
Okay.
But it's not, there's full on text messages pretty much, come sleep with me, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to take care of myself, winky face, type thing from Pokimane.
Yeah.
So like pretty much saying that she's going to diddle herself.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's like she still plays with him, and you can tell. And
what do you mean by that?
Like she like still after they have that conversation, because he like breaks it up in between the manifesto of showing like text messages. This is us like at the start. You know, then we had this talk, but then we'd still do stuff like this. But then like she'd get mad at him for calling her babe or whatever in front of other people. And like that would make her mad because he called her babe, and kind of using like, you know, words that couples would use.
Is there any like financial problems with this? Like, is there any is there any legality stuff with this?
Fed doesn't have a career anymore.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Also, yeah, there is actually.
But his career is okay. So
his career is dead without.
Besides the Pokimane stuff, it seems like he made a lot of mistakes on his own.
I also think that maybe this is the incel in me talking.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of the issues stem from her.
You think so?
Because I mean, Destiny said it, kind of. So I'm going back on it, and it made me feel like empowered.
Okay.
But it's probably very bold and polarizing.
Let's hear it.
He says, a girl leaning on a guy is almost as worse, if not worse, than what he actually did.
What do you mean by that?
So he like massaged the girl and made her uncomfortable,
yes,
which emotionally damaged him. But like leading a guy on the way that she does in these text messages, and you can see it, it's just as emotionally damaging.
Okay. Yeah. So why is Pokimane not getting like reprimanded for it?
It gets even worse.
Okay.
So Yvonne started off as who's the one that like had the Fedmeister claims.
Yeah.
She started off as Pokimane's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
He has text messages of Pokimane pretty much going like, oh, she's a kind of a shitty assistant. She's like getting lazy on me. She's just, you know, playing League all the time. It seems like she wants to be a content creator now.
Yeah. So she started off as an assistant.
Yes.
Okay.
And then she became like the in-home mom at Offline TV, where she like take care of the house, do stuff for them, this and that.
That's her position.
That was her position there.
She's like getting paid to do that.
Yeah.
She's not a content creator.
Yeah. At first.
Okay.
Yeah, you got that quick, so that's good. Because you don't know most of these people. So she started off as that, and then there started being talks. Digress. Pokimane also made claims on her stream, pretty much saying like, you know, and it's kind of shitty because it, you know, Fed wanted to get Yvonne kicked out of the house after everything happened, and we had no idea why he wanted to kick her out, and this and that. But now, like, that it comes full circle, pretty much implying that Fed wanted to get her kicked out after he kind of made her uncomfortable because he didn't want, like, any of these claims coming out or anything, and to kind of push her away. Come to find out, based on text messages, Pokimane was the one trying to get Yvonne kicked out of the house the entire time, and
because she was
lazy. And it almost seemed, I mean, it's just like, I mean, probably fucking, people talking shit.
The situation seems really messy.
It is. And it's just like it seemed like she didn't cross all of her T's and dot all of her I's before making lies. Yes.
So then,
because she also lied about, like, having a relationship with Fed and stuff like that.
So now her initial response was to basically
attack Fed and
make him scorched earth.
Yes.
Put it all on him.
Yes.
And
that's what it kind of seemed like, was she took also, like, other issues that she fucked up on, and kind of threw it on him.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, her not being friends with certain people was on her, and he even goes, like, she's just, like, a busy businesswoman, and, like, she wouldn't hang out with people unless it benefited her in some way.
Okay.
So, like, unless, like, it was like a dual stream.
Okay, so this seems to be, so besides the relationship part between the two, Pokimane and what is his name?
Fedmeister.
Okay.
Or Fed.
So it seems like another issue that is important is that Pokimane didn't like what's her name?
Yvonne.
Doesn't like her and wanted her out.
Yes.
But in the public, that wasn't really made clear or apparent.
Yes.
Until Fed pulled out everything.
Yes.
So that's where some more tension is.
He became the scapegoat for pretty much
Did she end up leaving?
No, she ended up becoming a content creator, which
was
also the issue.
So Pokimane didn't want her to be a content creator?
Pokey was like, there was like text messages like, and now she like wants to be a content creator when it seems like she's just like taking it lax on the house.
Get Pokimane's frustration because I assume she hired an assistant to have an assistant.
But she wasn't an assistant anymore at this time.
I know, but like to lose your assistant because clearly it seems like the girl came in not to be the assistant but to use it as a way to
I don't know the full insights of that
right,
either,
but that's what it seems like.
Because I don't know Yvonne, Lily Pichu, I don't know them. I kind of keep up with Scar and Disguised Toast. Yeah. But it's weird because Scar and Disguised Toast are kind of their own thing. I don't keep up with
they're bigger than offline.
TV. And Pokimane. I mean, they're like all bigger, but they're not so much that they're bigger. They're also standalone.
They have their own brand.
I can watch Scar without being invested in offline TV.
Me as well.
You can't watch like Lily Pichu, Yvonne,
without knowing all of the other stuff.
Pokimane without being like also.
Okay.
So
so
pretty much my biggest thing was fuck Pokimane. I fucking hate that bitch. She did my boy wrong. Even though he is a diddler.
He is a creep though.
Yeah, he is a creep.
It doesn't seem like ultimately, I mean, Pokimane seems like she gets hate a lot, and I'm sure she's getting hate for this as well.
Yes.
But ultimately, did Pokimane do anything wrong besides
lead that guy on? That's the worst fucking thing. That's so fucked up, dude.
To lead people on? Yeah, but I mean,
the main thing was that Destiny said that line, and I was like, yeah, these bitches are fucking these fucking bitches.
It's hard for me to feel bad because I've been let on many times before.
Because you turned out all right.
I know.
Because you turned out all right.
I know, right?
You got led on, and you still...
I've been led on plenty of times, right?
And you still are fine.
Yeah.
Other people have been led on, get led on for a while.
That doesn't excuse...
And then it fucks them up for long term.
That doesn't...
Now they can't have the emotional relationship with women ever.
That doesn't excuse the fact that guy was probably a creep.
Now they're a chronic dick pic sender.
That doesn't excuse the fact that guy was probably a creep before he got let on and after the fact that he got let on. Definitely. And he probably made people uncomfortable all the time. And I'm sure he also got, one doesn't have to be mutually, they can be both true. One doesn't have to be true and one doesn't have to be a lie. They both can be true. Yep. Where he was a creep and also got let on. That doesn't excuse the fact that he's a fucking weirdo, probably. So, I'm sure.
But fuck Pokimane.
I'm sure Pokimane, made it. I'm sure she, initially thought she could just get away with it.
Yes.
And
for sure.
Should her career be taken away though?
No, but come back full circle. It's funny because, like I said, watching Destiny, you might like him as a streamer a lot too. I told T-Voss to watch him because he's just like, the guy talks very well and like explains points very
cleanly.
And it's funny because at one point he goes, it seems like Pokimane tried to like you said, scorch earth, but the only thing that she fucked up on was not getting these messages deleted. And he goes, I honestly think that she could have texted Fedmeister at any time and just said, hey, just in case to like protect ourselves, we should like delete these text messages. And he was like, and I think that Fed would have done it for her in a heartbeat based on reading these text messages. When this all gets leaked, Fed makes a statement pretty much saying, yeah, I just wrote this as like a coping mechanism and it accidentally got leaked. I was never meant, me and Pokimane were always just friends, even though the text messages clearly show that they weren't just friends. Yeah. So he retracts everything that's said in it in a statement, which I'm assuming he makes that statement because of Pokimane telling him like, oh, you got to fix this kind of like, and it's just really fucking bad because like they're calling each other boob like and shit like honey bun and fucking her like hey you're cute stuff like that. It seems
like to me that Pokimane is like a really, I would have guessed this already. It seems like her image of what she is very much not necessarily an act, but very particular and specific to like appeal
she's
to
a business woman.
Yeah, she's a businesswoman. She's like a smart like,
and that's the thing that he was saying. He was like, she's just a what's it called? Like when a businesswoman's very stern and strictly about the business. What is that called? Like a bitchy, like pretty much like, I don't know, like ruthless businesswoman. Yeah, that's, you got that calling her ruthless. Like,
it just seems like she comes out again. I would have guessed that beforehand. It seems like she's just very much knows how to.
She's successful.
Right, and I'm not mad at the idea of her trying to make sure her image is proper.
Yes.
Because if I was in her position, I probably would have done the same.
Yes. But it is funny that he folded instantly to her. And like Destiny said that, and I was like, oh, that's so good, because he says it literally in there that she could have just asked to have the text message.
Honestly, after you tell me all this, I'm still on Pokimane's side.
Fuck Pokimane.
No, I'm on her side.
I fucking hate that bitch.
Why?
Because
I actually like her more now that I know all this.
those dude, I don't know.
What, you relate to it?
Some internal shit.
Yeah,
for me.
Yeah, you relate to it.
Dude, it made me realize that I might be just fucked up because of that shit, and that's why I play World of Warcraft for 12 hours a day.
I mean, you gotta work your shit out, man.
I play World of Warcraft for 48 hours within 3 days. That's just
what's
life.
The time? We made it through the whole time without
106.
We don't even need it. We don't need to bring up. Wow, we got it.
All right, guys. We actually had another hour probably on just World of Warcraft. We did it. I'm proud that we got through it without.
I'm happy we didn't have to talk about it.
I know.
See you later, everybody. Good night.
It's just turned into a sports podcast, huh?
I like it.